Busy show ahead. We've got happy hour this hour, then Jags HQ at 5 o'clock coming up in this program, though, a Texans Jaguars preview in week 3, the only AFC South game for the Jags in the first 9 weeks of the season. The Texans have started 0-2. We'll get to all of the angles of this game. Wide receiver and defensive back dynamics for the Jaguars now. Brian Thomas Jr. coming off a struggle in Cincinnati. We'll get into him and hear from him in the locker room this week. And what happens with Travis Hunter? Does he continue to get more defense? We'll break that down. Of course, Stroud versus Lawrence, first-round quarterbacks going at it again. Coach Mark Duffner in studio with us. And then at 5 o'clock on the Jaguars Radio Network, it is Jags HQ. We're on 1010XL, 92.5, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. And former Jags linebackers coach Mark Duffner with us again in studio. Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you back, Logs. Here we are. It's week 3 divisional play.
I know, isn't it crazy? It goes by so fast, but lost opportunity there in Cincinnati. A little disappointing. I think the disappointing thing, but also the good thing about that game was there were so many ways they could have won the game. You know, whether it's making a play on defense, whether it's doing a better job by forcing the opponent in a worse field position there towards the end of the game. Offense just making a play. I mean, there's probably like 5 plays offensively that you say, just make one of them. You know, and any one of those scenarios could have been the difference in the game. And to me, that tells you that you're doing a lot of really good things. You just got to make those plays.
Oh, my gosh, Jeff. No question about it. I mean, again, even the last drive, the defense getting them into fourth down situations that they have an opportunity to win. Now, and I'm not a big crier about officiating, but there's 3 situations in that game that were major in terms of officials' decisions. Early in the game, first drive, batted pass, I think it was Armstead. No, it was Walker on the quarterback that could have gone our way and would have in points, field position for sure. Secondly, you know, you've got the potential interference call, which I still think was not a good call. The official had an angle that I don't think was. I mean, from his angle, it looked like it may have been, but
totally
really,
looked like it from his angle.
But it really wasn't. Yoshi didn't get touched, and Yoshi's falling.
He's just falling down.
Yeah, I mean, so that call, and then the interception by Lloyd. I mean, geez, Pete, to this moment, I'm still not sure he's down, and that's touchdown.
Yeah, and so they whistled that one dead early, so you can't review it.
And I understood, but we got no points out of that, whereas we clearly had potential points. So as you said, so many positive things in the ball game.
Yeah, a lot of positive though to go with this. Yeah, you can clean up some things. What is the most positive aspect of a game like this, Duff?
I think the team came off the field knowing that they had that game, that they played against a team that, you know, by rights is a playoff team, and they had them. They led the entire game till 18 seconds left, and you know, at times was dominating the game. So I mean, they know coming off the guys that played in that game and contributed to that they deserved to win the game. And now that they didn't, hopefully they got the itch. Son of a gun, we're not letting another one get away from us.
I think for me, it's if you have one game that's a physical brand of style of football, that could be an aberration. When you do it again, then it becomes a pattern. And so for me, I mean, the way that they are just playing a physical brand of football is impressing me. And it's not just being physical on the offense, because, I mean, that's kind of where it's just glaring how good it is. The 2 backs are tremendous. The offensive line is doing a very good job of finishing with the tight ends. The play calling at times is like, hey, we're going to ram it up your rear end. And I like that occasionally. Probably would have liked to seen a little bit more on Sunday. And defensively playing a physical style. I mean, 44, I think, leads the way in that department, the way he plays the game and the way he has been playing. But to me, that's the biggest change from last year to this year thus far, to me, is how physical this football team is.
Fully agree. And you said the play calling. I mean, the first drive, they went right down the field. They, again, take the ball on the toss, go right down the field, score a touchdown instead of a field goal this week, but score off defensively. It's 3 and out. I mean, then they come back. They got another drive going until they get an interception, which was really a catchable ball that gets tipped, and tips and overthrows, they get it. Next drive, touchdown. So a lot of good play calls, a lot of good execution early on.
And then on the defensive side, Chase was going to get his. We kind of talked about that last week, and he certainly did.
You think?
Everything else, for the most
pretty
part,
good.
was held in check until the Higgins long one for the touchdown.
Yeah, I got to tackle better on that one, do we?
Right, and you know what? They had the 3 takeaways again, and now this Jags defense leads the league in takeaways with 6.
Outstanding, really. I mean, when you that being an issue that everybody talked about from last year to right now, are you kidding me? They lead the league in rushing. They lead the league in takeaways. I mean, geez, areas that we're certainly focused in on now to lead the league, excellent.
Yeah, they're doing a good job with that, and keep them coming.
Yeah.
Look, 6, 2 games, and if you get another 3 this game, you tied last year's total.
In 3 weeks. Can you imagine?
If they do it in 3 weeks, which,
Good.
Yeah, man.
knock on wood. If they can do that, it would be tremendous. And I don't know if Stroud's going to throw them 3, but there's other ways to get them.
Amen.
But a good job by the defense, and there's still some meat left on the bone defensively.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, the last thing in the world that you wanted to have happen is to have a backup quarterback get the win. And so at the end of the day, I know that Liam Cohen was very happy with his defense and kind of praised him a little bit. But at the end of the day, they still scored more points than you. So that means that you need to be better on that side of the ball.
I think one of the biggest storylines coming out of last week's game, of course, was the play of Brian Thomas Jr., Jaguars wide receiver. 12 targets in the game, 4 catches in the game, and he was asked a lot this week about a possible slump. How do you get out of it? Here's what he said.
Nah, I wouldn't call it a slump. Just got to go out there and execute, make the plays. I wouldn't say I'm in a slump or nothing. Just got to, when my name called, my number's called, you got to go out there and execute, make the plays. That's it.
You think it's an overreaction to a couple of games? Or one game?
I don't really. People look at it how they look at it. People got their own opinions of everything. So, you can look at it how you look at it, however you want to look at it. I know, like I said, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can do. Everybody got their own opinion, so it is what it is.
It's Brian Thomas Jr. in the locker room this week. So, Coach, 19 targets for the season, 5 catches, 60 yards. For a young player, he's a second-year player in the league. Obviously, having some confidence issues of some sort, it looks like on the field, at least from the view of it. How do you get him back on track as a coach?
Well, I think this, when I started watching him in training camp, everything I heard was this is the best player on the team. And I kind of saw the team from afar last year being at Cincinnati and how productive and prolific he was as a rookie. I think what you do, and I'm sure the coaches have done this, you take plays that he's done and show him catching the ball, making terrific catches, making clutch catches, making plays when we need it the most. He did that. It's not made up. Those aren't words. So I think they probably have drowned him in a way of exposure to what he's done and the fact, and just trying to help him a little bit as far as that's concerned. I think that's all it is. Sometimes players press, oftentimes, whether it's a quarterback, whether it's me missing tackles, missing a block, whatever the case may be, and they get into a little bit of funks, if you will. And to get out of that funk, you just reinforce it with, this is what you've done. We're not making this up. And to show it to him and let that, our minds are tape recorders. They kind of record good and bad. I'd pump him with all the best that guy has done, so that gets back into his frame of mind, and he'll come out of this, and you'll see it make productive plays.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how he performs going forward. If you ignore last year and you look at his performance in preseason, camp, and the first 2 games so far, you would say that it's time to reduce his number of snaps. That's the reality. Look, I think he's a marvelous player, but he's not playing like a marvelous player right now. The thing that I think is going to be interesting to watch is, can he get his swagger back? I haven't seen that this year. That's the thing that concerns me the most, is that the performance is not where it's been in the past, but most importantly, the body language and the swagger is not where it's been in the past.
Remember early last season, that Dolphins game, Duff, I don't know, you might not remember this, but it was down in Miami, and he catches a long ball on Jalen Ramsey.
Actually, he didn't catch it. He actually, it was just an interference call.
Right, okay. But they're at the end zone, and Jalen's yapping at him, and he's right back in his face. Like, where is that guy? You know?
Well, I think it's inconsistency, and I think Jeff and both of you know it better than me. I remember listening to all this talk in training camp, and then when I didn't have the privilege to go, but at the practice against Miami, Petey made plays out, and everybody thought, okay, he's back, and so obviously inconsistency has been the culprit here, and I just suspect that, as I said, through suggestion of the film and everything else, getting him to see all that again, and then also play design. Let's see how we can feature him by design, what his responsibility be to help him get that swagger, that confidence back. So I think that's part of it too. That's what we do as coaches.
PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. This is Jaguars Happy Hour on 1010XL 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, Coach Mark Duffner in studio with us. Let's move forward now. Let's put all that in the rear view and take a look at the Houston Texans. Texans. They're backed up against the wall. They're 0-2, but how real is that in the league when a defending champ in this division is 0-2, back against the wall, gotta have it kind of game? How dangerous are those teams in the league?
Well, I think that they're dangerous, for sure. But let's analyze that a little bit. They played two playoff teams the first two games. They lose the first one by 5. They lose the second one by 1, and by all rights should have won that game. So I don't know that they're in desperate mode, if you will, as a team. They've been used to winning. They've won that division. Does it put a little stress? Yeah, there's some urgency right now, and you hope that they respond to that. But this is a little better team than I think you think. Now, they've struggled on offense, and that's going to be, trying to get consistency. But I'll remind you this, that there were two teams in the league last year that had the best in terms of starting games out, first position scoring. They were one of them. They didn't do it in the first game because they didn't score a touchdown. They had just field goals. But in this last ball game, opening drive touchdown, second drive field goal. So they've had flashes. They're trying to find their swagger, their consistency. But this is a dangerous team coming in, talent-wise, especially on defense.
Yeah, offensively, they've got issues. I think it's like their third coordinator in 3 years under their head coach. And if you look at their offensive lineup, the offensive line itself, they had one guy play the same position from week 1 to week 2.
Wow.
And that's obviously going to be a problem just because of consistency. It's hard to be consistent and productive when the lineup changes so much. I thought they got better this past game up front than they were the game before. And by the way, Cam Robinson was in the lineup week 1. He's out. He's now a backup. And they've moved in their rookie second-round pick out of Minnesota, Ariante Ursary. And he's a good football player at left tackle. I think Josh has got to make some hay against him. Trayvon's got to be able to take advantage of Titus Howard, who's been kind of a guard half of the time in the NFL since he's been there. But you've got to keep them off balance offensively. And right now they've got one wide receiver that's absolutely a dangerous weapon, and that's Nico Collins. Christian Kirk is kind of their number 2, but he hasn't played yet.
Yeah, he's been dinged up.
So you'd like to keep them where they are, which is struggling to find a little bit of a rhythm.
Duff, how about C.J. Stroud? And, it seems a little similar with Burrow in this regard, that he takes a lot of hits, contact, a bunch of sacks, right? But he always seems to step up, and he's always stepped up against this Jaguars team, too. He has not thrown an interception against the Jaguars in 4 games.
Yeah, no, he's a dangerous player. This is the Rookie of the Year in 2023. Now, he's struggled to get back to that form, and what I think a lot of it has to do with what Jeff was talking about, the offensive line. New offensive coordinator, 4 new linemen. Last year, he was probably the second most sacked and quarterback in the league. So he's gotten beaten up quite a bit. But
52 sacks last year.
52 sacks. So, but still, and I think in the first game he was about 70% completion. Last week about 54%. So that's struggle. He's about 63 overall. 6 times he's been sacked. So, but this rascal can make you miss. So he's still a dangerous player that's going to challenge us in terms of contain. We've got to affect this quarterback. And, Berrios, the wideout's coming back, it looks like. Kirk's coming back, so they'll have a little bit more weapons, as Jeff alluded to. So, he has the ability to stress you on defense big time. And he did. I'll tell you another thing about him. both games, in the game against the Rams and the game against the Bucs, in 2 minutes, where they have struggled, frankly, offensively, this cat has had about a 15-yard scramble to a 19-yard scramble in 2 minutes, which is an issue because they can, again, those are critical times where they're trying to score. So, he's going to command our top attention and focus for sure.
Yeah, and scrambling is really, I mean, that's kind of rare for him. That's not what he wants to do. I mean, he's a passer.
Yeah, he wants to throw it.
And arm talent, he's one of the best in the league. I mean, he reminds me in a lot of situations like Patrick Mahomes, in that he can be off balance and literally with a flick of the wrist, he can drop a dime at 40 yards. I mean, he's one of those guys. And that makes you nervous just because he can get hot at a moment's notice. I mean, go back to his rookie year when he had like 100 quarterback rating and was averaging, I don't know, over 300 yards a game, I believe it was, passing or something crazy like that. I mean, but he's got that kind of talent, and that's what makes you nervous, is because you know that arm talent is there.
We've got plenty more ahead. We'll return and take a look at that Texans defense, the strength of this team coming to the bank this Sunday. And tickets are available this Sunday, September 21st. The Texans and the Jaguars celebrate Hispanic heritage and witness history as the Jags take the field for the first time this season in the legendary Prowler throwback uniforms. Get your seats now at jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. And we'll have Mark Duffner's 5 Keys to Victory when we return as well on Jaguars Happy Hour.
This is Jaguar Hall of Famer Tony Boselli telling you about Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and home remodeling company. With over 25 years of trusted experience, Heritage of North Florida has built a reputation for quality, reliability, and craftsmanship. Whether you need a new roof or updating your kitchen or bathroom, trust the pros at Heritage of North Florida to create the perfect place to call home. Mention Jaguars to get $1,500 off your next roof or kitchen remodel when you go to heritagenfl.com. Go Jags!
My best friend Riley loved going to the beach. She was a great swimmer. Then one day, during a swim meet, she collapsed. She had cancer, Hodgkin lymphoma. She spent months getting care at UF Health. The doctors did so much, even put her in a clinical trial. I wish we could go to the beach right now. But she's working.
Out of the water.
She's on lifeguard duty. Maybe we'll head out when her shift is done.
UF Health. Human progress has no finish line.
If you look closely at a Ford SUV, you won't just see eye-catching design. You'll feel adventure and a new sense of freedom in a Ford Bronco, or an elevated level of confidence from the advanced technology found in a Ford Explorer. And with standard 4x4 in the Bronco Sport, you'll find the strength to overcome almost any obstacle. It's time to see Ford SUVs in a new light. Stop by your local Ford dealer today to find a great deal on a new Ford SUV.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank. Advantage you. Member FDIC. And the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elace, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elace.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a ZipChair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Being in that division in LA with San Fran, right? Very, very similar
structure, the way that they come off the rock, the way that they want to disrupt. We have got to have another sound plan when it comes to protecting the quarterback, but also in the run game, manufacturing different ways to manipulate those guys. Like I said, it takes all 11, but specifically the way that they want to roll off and come off the rock and play. Talented, got a lot of respect for the way that those guys play the game and can be very disruptive.
Jaguars Happy Hour from the Hyundai Studios of the Miller Electric Center continues. That was head coach Liam Cohen discussing the pass rush and defensive line for the Houston Texans. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. Coming up at 5 o'clock, it's Jags HQ. We'll have Tony Boselli and James Gladstone in studio live. That's coming up in just a little bit. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, Coach Mark Duffner in studio with us as we continue to look ahead to the Houston Texans. And this is where I believe the game's going to be made. Texans defense physicality, Jaguars offensive physicality. If they want to be that mindset, this is the week to prove it, Duff. What have they shown, at least on defense on tape, and what do they do well on that side of the ball?
Well, first of all, they are an athletic bunch, very talented group. They can run to the football. They got recoverability. They can get back in plays. I mean, really a pretty talented group, especially on the edges and the two corners. And, I mean, really they're perimeter-type defense. But in my book, I would do exactly what our offense is all about, is run the ball. I mean, you saw Tampa Bay run it for about 170 against them the other night. And they gave cover two team. They're about well over 20 snaps of cover two. In fact, 40 I charted 40 in the Tampa Bay game and 20 in the first game. So when they're in cover two, they got two hard corners that are kind of out of the box, they're out of the box by distribution in terms of their play in the run game. Now, those are active corners, but they're out of the core. So now we're running against really what would amount to a 7-man front, the front and two linebackers, and maybe a strong safety coming from depth. So I would run right at them. They're a 4-man front, so they give you that look, and they don't do much movement. So you're going to know where they're lining up. I mean, so for me in putting together the run game, we know where they're going to be. They're not real big inside. Their backers are off the ball a little bit. Now, they're active, but they're off the ball. With the physicality and the success we've had in the run game, I would knock their tail off the ball. I'd run it and run it and run it. And then occasionally if we can get our quarterback to scramble a little bit, that'll help too. And we get them to third down, now we've got them. And we will get to that, but they're struggling on third down. They're like 22%. They're at the bottom of the league on third down. So I think they set up real well for what our offense is all about and what our game plan is with the running attack and play action pass. I think let's go get it.
Yeah, it's a big game for the running backs, I think, with Etienne and Bashal Tootin. I think those guys got to have big games, kind of keep that Texans off balance. But I think one of the cool things about this game is how often do you get two head coaches that are calling the plays on opposite sides of the ball. You know, Liam Cohen calling the plays for the Jaguars offense, and then D'Amico Ryan's obviously calling plays for the Texans defense, kind of battle the head coaches here a little bit. So I think that I'm looking forward to that. If they've got two backs that are playing well like they have in the first two games, because it's been really good performances across the board for the running backs, then it's gonna make the game a lot easier for Trevor Lawrence. It's also going to make the game easier for Brian Thomas Jr. And then you got to find a way to get Parker Washington involved more. And if that's taking snaps away from Brian Thomas Jr. Or De'Ami Brown, so be it. It's a game of the fittest and the strongest, and that's how it always has been, and that's the way it always will be. Because the bottom line is winning, and best performances get you winning.
Shooting, and 100%. Parker certainly showed last week he was thirsty for the ball, and when he got it, he made things happen. So I'm with you on that. The other point I think I'd bring up real quick, too, is Liam's exposure to Tampa Bay and his players there and what they did the other night, and then his exposure to the Rams and what they did in the first game gives him a notch up, too, in terms of the preparation, the game planning as we prepare for the Texans. So I feel like, a lot of things are falling into place as far as the preparation for this game.
All the players have said the right things this week when they've been asked about Azeez Al-Shire and the hit on Trevor Lawrence last year. It's in the rear view. We're not moving forward. But Duff, it's on everybody else's mind. I know that. Everybody remembers Trevor Lawrence getting hit in the head and then missing the rest of the season. Does that come into play at all this week, or is it just in general, we're going to play hard, tough Jaguars football against that guy?
I think the latter. I think they're going to play good, hard, tough Jaguars football against that guy. But I also think there's just a little bit back there that within the rules, when you get an opportunity to let them know we're here, you do that. But within the rules, if you let that become your focus, you're going to lose control, and then you're playing against yourselves and the opponent, and nobody wins on that. But it'll add to the preparation. It should. What the flip? We're competitive as heck. And that's this is our family. This is one of our brothers. So, that's why emotion is I think excellent in this game. Enthusiasm, excitement, all those things are part of it. And if you have it in the right vein, if you will, it's a plus for you.
Now, if I was an offensive lineman, I'd be pulling a code red.
Yeah.
I mean, look, legally, Duff. I mean,
that's
legally.
What I said. No, I'm just said the same thing.
You're just blocking him. Echo with a whistle.
No, and I knew that's where he would go, and I love it about him. Right? No, I knew.
I'd be like an elephant. I mean, it'd probably take me about a decade to forget that one.
Yeah, no, and that's how you want your team thinking. I mean, now you talk about physicality and talk about being tough and competitive. That's what he's talking, and it's well done.
Yeah, be physical. The echo of the whistle applies for this guy.
Nothing wrong with that. The Jaguars and the Texans coming up this Sunday. As we said, the only divisional game for the Jags in the first 9 weeks of the season. Have a chance to put the Texans at 0-3 in the first 3 weeks of the year, and of course, move the Jaguars to 2-1. So, Mark Duffner, give us your 5 keys for a Jaguars victory against the Houston Texans.
You sure I can't be like Coach Coughlin? No, but let me just say a couple things. One, we got to fix ourselves. We got to eliminate the penalties that can kind of stall us or put us in backward motion, if you will. Protect the quarterback and the ball. Demonstrate early in the game when we get the opportunity that we're owning the line of scrimmage. Whether it's if we take the ball, we take down the field and score like they did last week. When they come out, we let them know right now with knockback, stopping their first drive, let them know they're in for it in terms of we're winning the line of scrimmage, as you talked about before. And run the football against this team that's going to play too deep and make them pay as far as that's concerned. When you get into the red zone, points. We've got to get points. And so we're going to get there. We're going to come back with points. When we play against this group, protect our quarterback and affect their quarterback. I mean, nothing's, intelligent in terms of what I'm trying to tell you, astrological, whatever the case may be. Contain their quarterback, affect their quarterback, win third down, win the game.
It's interesting in that when's the last time the Jaguars have beat the Texans here in Duval?
2017.
2017.
Think about that.
That's 7 consecutive wins for the Houston Texans. Every year when you get ready to talk about goals for the season, Duff, right at the top, win your home games.
No question.
Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, win in the division, because that's the direct path to the playoffs. Correct. Well, guess what? You got 2 of them right here, double whammy. And on top of that, against a team that has owned you in your own place. It's time to change the culture on this one.
Yeah, this is an OZ game. Just like he said, we owe these suckers right now. I think not only is it 7 or 8 at home, I think it's 2 out of that. I think they've won 12 out of the last 14.
That's right.
So it's, again, you want to make a statement. All the goals that Jeff just laid out there are sitting there right in front. Let's go grab them.
It's a culture-changing game if the Jaguars can get it done this week against the Texans. Duff, always a pleasure to have you in. We'll do it again next week.
I look forward to it like you wouldn't believe.
Former Jags linebackers coach Mark Duffner with us each and every Thursday here on Jaguars Happy Hour. And from the backyard to the beaches, the Ford F-150 with available Pro Power on board gives you the power of a mobile generator. Ford, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. See your local Ford dealer today. We're on Tintin XL 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. Kainani Stevens. When we return, it's Jaguars Happy Hour.
This is Jaguar Hall of Famer Tony Boselli telling you about Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and home remodeling company. With over 25 years of trusted experience, Heritage of North Florida has built a reputation for quality, reliability, and craftsmanship. Whether you need a new roof or updating your kitchen or bathroom, trust the pros at Heritage of North Florida to create the perfect place to call home. Mention Jaguars to get $1,500 off your next roof or kitchen remodel when you go to heritagenfl.com. Go Jags.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at EverBank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
What's Here is a place that generations have trusted to help their kids grow up healthy and strong. What's Here are caregivers with knowledge and expertise rivaling any children's hospital in the world. What's Here is the only Level 1 pediatric trauma center in our region. What's Here is Wolfson Children's Hospital, with the technology, research, and dedication to save and change countless young lives. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Is your organization ready to tackle its toughest challenges? For 3 decades, CSI Companies, based in Jacksonville, has been the trusted workforce partner for leading healthcare and technology providers nationwide. Whether finding the right talent for a specific job, advising on a strategic project, or offering seamless managed services, they tailor every solution to fit your needs. CSI brings trusted expertise and a people-first approach to your organization. Get the job done right. Together, we go further. Learn more at CSICompanies.com.
Watch the game, host your crew, or just unwind at PC Grill and Patio at Sheridan Jacksonville, part of the Marriott family of hotels. Enjoy craft cocktails, tasty bites, and indoor-outdoor seating perfect for watch parties, happy hours, and events. Mention this radio ad for 10% off food and drinks. Visit SheridanJacksonville.com or call 904-564-4772.
I think we were very intentional last week, specifically about some of the volume and mileage that we were looking at deploying, and it showed up on Sunday. There's definitely things to clean up about that in terms of detailing the preparation and making sure that all the formations, all the alignments, but we can help them too and maybe simplify some of that stuff as well for them. But very happy with where things were last week in terms of our organization with him, his preparation, and we kind of continue to do that this week as we continue to just evaluate how many snaps and what it's going to look like each week.
Liam Cohen talking about Travis Hunter earlier this week, and welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman from Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. Our thanks to former Jags linebackers coach Mark Duffner joining us each and every Thursday with his preview of the upcoming opponent. Thorough, as always, from Duff. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. At 5 o'clock, we'll have Jags HQ. James Gladstone, Tony Boselli will join us in studio. Then on the Jaguars Radio Network, Kainani Stevens joins us now. Good afternoon, Kai.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Happy to be here.
Great to have you as always. And here we are coming off a loss. We touched on some of the big things, but the big themes this week: make plays when they're there, especially late in games. The drops and the issues in the passing game were a standout. The defense couldn't get off the field in that last drive on a 4th down, then the PI, but they did have some positives. A lot of positives out of the game too, and the big negative though is that they lost.
Sure. It felt like a missed opportunity, right? Especially when you knock Joe Burrow out of a game, you're like, oh, maybe this is good. But of course, Jake Browning's now beat us twice, so maybe not so much. But
Ring of Honor guy with 2 Jaguar games. How's that work?
We make him look real good. He'd be a starter if he played Jaguars every week.
If you look at his career numbers, they're actually similar to Joe Burrow. I mean, but obviously a very small sample size.
I was going to say, how many games is this?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I can't remember exactly how many games. I was actually looking at his numbers, in the week leading up to it because I was, here's the reality. Every time you get ready to face Cincinnati with Joe Burrow's injury history, you want to take a look at the backup. And so I was looking at Jake Browning's numbers, and also because he was the one who led the Bengals to the win a couple years ago against the Jaguars, and I was looking at his numbers, and I went, wow. And I always write the notes down, and he was right there with Joe as far as like the percentage-wise, but obviously not the experience. But, yeah, Joe's having a tough time of it.
He is, too bad.
3 months.
I hate that. I mean, look, I wish he was able to play this week instead of being out 3 months, because of a toe surgery. I mean, you always want the best players to play in the National Football League, just not when you play them.
It makes it more fun when everybody's playing well. But I think, the thing about the takeaway for me, and now that we're a little farther away from it, it's fixable things, and it doesn't feel like you were lucky to even be in a game at certain points last year when you were just like, oh, that was never going to happen. It was like there's a couple missed opportunities for them late, going for it on fourth down, not getting that, dropped pass, dropped touchdowns, and then the PI penalty on Travis Hunter, which if you watch it now, doesn't look that, I don't know how you coach it much differently, right? So, you never blame the refs entirely, but that was part of it, and then it kind of was a long drive. So there's a couple little things, and that's what it always comes down to, a few plays, right? A few key plays when you look back on it. I think they'll be ready this week. I'm excited this week. It's a divisional game. The Texans really feel like the true rival to me of this team right now. I know everyone's going to want to say they always hate the Titans, which is fair, but I think the Texans right now are kind of the measuring stick, at least for right now, especially a good opportunity. They're 0-2 right now. They've had trouble stopping the run so far in the first 2 games that they've played. Our run game has been pretty great, so I like to see that matchup. I'm excited.
I think your biggest rivalry should always be the king of the hill.
Sure.
Okay, and right now, the Texans are the king of the hill. Division winners the last 2 years. The Titans always have a special place in your heart.
Yeah, I didn't say you have to like them either. I'm just...
But the Texans are the team to beat right now. The Titans right now have a young quarterback, and they are a little bit in disarray when it comes to their roster. If you look at the first 2 weeks, you might say that the Colts are the team to beat. But again, the division champs, that's, where they've earned that title and they've earned that respect. And here's an opportunity to send them back to Houston at 0-3. How good would that be?
That'd be great.
That would be outstanding, and that, to me, that's what this game is all about. Getting a big jump on them, taking a head-to-head game against them, and then moving forward.
Time for the Jaguars defensive coverage of the game presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, benefits for federal employees and retirees. We take a look at Travis Hunter's snap totals last week, both sides of the football, and his defensive numbers went up dramatically. 43 defensive snaps, 62% of the game. Had 2 tackles and 1 pass defense last week. He had 3 catches for 22 yards on 59% of the offensive snaps as well. And this is going to continue, I think, to fluctuate as the season goes along. Depends on the opponent, depends on the week. And Travis, we know, is not going to give up much in the locker room when asked about it.
Oh, he's not going to tell us. I'm curious if that was the plan always, or I know Jarian Jones got banged up in that game, if that was kind of a necessity at a certain point, but it was nice to see him out there on defense. That's his natural position. He's very natural, fluid. You can put him out there at corner, and he knows what's going on. He knows what he needs to do. So I play him as much as, he wants to play, so play him. As far as I'm concerned, I think getting him involved on offense has been... they focused a lot on Brian Thomas Jr. in the last game. In the first game, they rushed, disproportionately more than they threw the ball. So I would hope this week they get him involved a little bit more, because I think, like we're talking about, if Travis Hunter becomes a true weapon, you can spread the field out a little bit more. That gives opportunity to everybody else. So I don't know if it's going to be this week. I would like to see that. But again, I'm starting naming people, and there's all these people that need the ball, and there's only so many times they're going to have the ball. So I'm not exactly sure what we're going to see.
Now, we're kind of always been waiting for that moment for Travis Hunter, and he had it last week, and the refs stole it.
It's tough.
To me, I thought that was
that would have been tough. Everywhere. It's fourth down. It ends the game.
Over.
Yeah.
And he makes a hell of a play. And Duffner earlier, he said he called it exactly the way it was. The official that was made that call had the positioning to see Yoshivas, the wide receiver, kind of falling away, and it gave the impression that maybe Travis was physical and why he was falling down, and that's not the case. And Travis makes a good play. And, Travis was signaling, and people are like, oh, Travis was shooting the money sign. No, he wasn't.
Tip.
He was shooting I got the tip on the ball. That's good play.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that could have been a signature moment for him, and I still want to see him catch the ball on offense and just go.
Sure.
Because I know he's got the ability and elite speed.
Turn it around.
And what, the last time somebody started both ways was Cromartie back in 2012, I think it was.
Against the Jags, too.
Yeah, so I hope at some point, that happens, because the reality is that and Liam Cohn said it, and we've been kind of talking about it all offseason, his stamina is unmatched. I mean, if
at least test it to
show
see
me
what
a play
the limit
that
is.
looks like that he's not going 100%. You can't find it. I mean, he's got endless energy. I don't know how he does it, but how many snaps did you say?
43 on defense, 42 on offense.
And that's counting penalty snaps too, okay, I believe. So you're talking 80-something snaps, and he's like Foye. Foye's got incredible stamina too, but not to the level of what Travis is doing. It's crazy cool.
Crazy cool it is. Certainly is. And you know what else is crazy cool? Jaguars All Access Television.
Jaguars All Access.
Yes, you've heard of it.
I have.
Who's on it tonight?
Trayvon Walker is with us, who I've been seeing his film everywhere. Compliments on the All-22. I think people were looking at what he did against the Bengals, and we see it all the time, of course, but it's nice when other people notice.
Yeah, he had a really strong game. Three quarterback pressures.
How was that not a fumble, by the way?
The arm was starting
I think
forward.
that because it looked, at least from what we saw at the stadium when they were replaying it and the kind of the timing that they did with it, I think if they called it the other way on the field, they would have kept it. It didn't look, to me, it looked as close as it gets, and I think when it's like that, they go with what their original call was.
If the arm's going forward but the ball goes backwards, guess what? That's a fumble.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. I mean, it's a tough. I mean, obviously we're all wearing teal-colored glasses there for that call there, and. But he had a dominant performance. He had a couple great pressures. One of the pressures led to a pick. I think my favorite play of all was a tackle that he had in that game, and you guys might remember. I mean, extremely physical tackle that he had, and then also he buried an offensive lineman in the pile. I mean, he's a bully. I mean, he's like it's not often that you have like a true bully in the National Football League, because everybody's big and everybody's strong. He's just stronger than most guys and bigger and more powerful than most guys. He's like he plays the game like a bully, and he crushed the right guard or tackle on that pass rush. It was a backup. The backup came in, and I actually called it. Because I saw the back of it, I know what his style of play is, and it's not very good. And I said, watch for Trayvon against this guy. And Trayvon just trucked him. He's a bully, and I love it.
Love that.
He's our bully.
Yeah, and he won't be tonight. He'll be friendly and
open. That's the best part. He's the sweetest guy ever. When he's not facing up against you, he's very sweet.
I think this game, too, has a little bit of added meaning for him and Josh.
I would say so.
Because, look, everybody wants to talk about the Texans' edge players.
Sure.
And how tough and physical they are.
Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, those are two guys
to talk
about.
And they're really good, and one guy's been doing it forever. And so I think that Josh and Trayvon, will ask him tonight. Is this a game that you and Josh kind of take as a personal challenge to be better than the other two guys? I mean, heck yeah, why not? Take that personal, hey, look, any little extra motivation, edge that you can find along the way to give yourself that little push, take it every day.
No doubt about that. 7 o'clock tonight.
See us tonight, yes.
String Sports Brewery in Springfield.
We will be there.
It's a great place. Oh. Order logs?
Alabama White Wings. Mm-hmm. Family's expecting it tonight. They have put it in order.
I was going to say a standing order.
I think we're going to go 20 wings tonight. 20 or 30. I'm not sure yet.
That's a lot. And then what are they going to eat? Because you're eating all those.
Scraps.
Guy, what are you going to get today?
I'm not sure. If there's any left, maybe I'll get some wings too.
They may not have any of that white sauce because that's white sauce. I mean, it's just I get sloppy with it. I take the whole wing, dip it in the sauce, and just, it's just I got to wear a bib.
This is why you have to eat after the show.
Yeah.
That's why I don't eat them there.
Yeah.
Is because it would not look good on TV to have Alabama white sauce.
Now that's advertising.
All over the
sauce
shirt.
all over your shirt?
Yeah.
Now that'll bring them in.
That's how good they are.
That's what it is. Kai, thanks a lot.
Thanks, gents.
Kainani Stevens joining us, Jaguars reporter. We're back with the injury report. And then at 5 o'clock, it's Jags HQ. Tony Boselli and James Gladstone will be with us in the studio. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. And if you want customized Jags furniture for your home, check out ZipChair.com and browse all customizable options. ZipChair, furniture for fans. This is Jaguars Happy Hour.
This is Jaguar Hall of Famer Tony Boselli telling you about Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and home remodeling company. With over 25 years of trusted experience, Heritage of North Florida has built a reputation for quality, reliability, and craftsmanship. Whether you need a new roof or updating your kitchen or bathroom, trust the pros at Heritage of North Florida to create the perfect place to call home. Mention Jaguars to get $1,500 off your next roof or kitchen remodel when you go to heritagenfl.com. Go Jags.
It's Ford Truck Month, America. Time to get into Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years straight. Choose a gas, hybrid, or all-electric F-150. Got a heavyweight job to do? It's time for Super Duty. Save on a great selection of Ford trucks, including Maverick and Ranger. It's Ford Truck Month. Time to make your move. Don't miss the best offers of the year during Ford Truck Month.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA. To not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
Is your organization ready to tackle its toughest challenges? For 3 decades, CSI Companies based in Jacksonville has been the trusted workforce partner for leading healthcare and technology providers nationwide. Whether finding the right talent for a specific job, advising on a strategic project, or offering seamless managed services, they tailor every solution to fit your needs. CSI brings trusted expertise and a people-first approach to your organization. Get the job done right. Together, we go further. Learn more at CSICompanies.com.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at EverBank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hey, Duval, here's your chance to be face-to-face with the Jags as they take the field on game day. Jump in the shadows and experience the Jaguars like never before. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows for your chance to be part of the action. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C., 18 and older. Entry periods for the sweepstakes are from 8/4/25 to 12/21/25. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsor and administrator, EverBank, N.A. member FDIC.
I'm past that. I'm way past that at this point in my life. So it's not something I've thought about since then. Everybody's different, you know. It's football. It's a violent game, and obviously it's unfortunate when things like that happen. And I don't want to get into all that again, but you know, we're past that. So I'm not going to look in the rearview mirror.
Trevor Lawrence this week asked about the hit from Azeez Al-Shaair last year for the Houston Texans and if he had ever called to apologize. That was the answer. No, he did not. It's okay. Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. From the Hyundai Studios on 1010XL 92.5 FM, JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to Kainani Stevens. And of course, Mark Duffner with us earlier. Coming up in just a little bit, about 10 minutes or so from now, it's Jags HQ. Tony Boselli and James Gladstone scheduled to join us in studio live as they do each and every Thursday. Time now for the injury report presented by UF Health, the proud healthcare partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they've put it out a little earlier today. We'll start with the Houston Texans. Why not? We'll get to the Jags in just a moment. Jake Andrews, center with an ankle injury, limited both days. Braxton Berrios, wide receiver, hamstring, limited both days. Christian Kirk, wide receiver, limited both days with his hamstring issue. Kamari Lassiter, the cornerback, limited both days with a knee issue. Jalen Petrie, the safety, with a rib problem, limited both Wednesday and Thursday. Jalen Smith, the cornerback, has not practiced this week with a hamstring issue. And Darrell Taylor, the defensive end, with a hip problem, limited both Wednesday and Thursday. That's the Texans side of things. Anything stand out there? Bunch of limited guys early in the season?
I mean, nothing. I mean, the one thing is probably, their center, okay. Which is Jake Andrews. He got hurt that first game. What was his injury, by the way? Ankle, yeah.
Ankle issue.
So so maybe they're not going to be at full strength along the offensive line, but if he were to play, then that would be the third different offensive line starting group of the year for them in the same amount of games.
That's hard to do. I mean, it's tough. I mean, when you're hurt, you're hurt. And they've been injured and have made some changes already with performance as well. Now to the Jaguars portion of the injury report today. Monteric Brown, the cornerback, coming off an ankle issue from training camp. Full participation both Wednesday and Thursday.
That's a real positive right there.
Yes, it is. They, Jaguars secondary can use all the help they can get, certainly, and Monteric Brown would be a nice piece there. Ezra Cleveland with an ankle issue. The left guard, has not practiced either Wednesday or Thursday.
That's a concern.
Who would go in that spot if he can't go?
That's a great question. I think if Wyatt Milam were back 100%, I think he would have been the first guy.
Yeah,
but
Wyatt Milam's limited both days with a knee issue.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be back this week. So,
put Van Lanen inside? Do you move?
I mean, Van Lanen's kind of been more of a tackle. So, I mean, Chuma. Yeah, maybe Chuma. Or Monheim. Monheim played some guard too. So, we'll have to wait and see. And, there's a lot of veteran guys that have not practiced on a Wednesday and a Thursday and then practiced on a Friday in a limited capacity or not at all and have been able to play in the game. I think if Ezra were a young player, you would be concerned and say, you know what, let's just, let's not worry about it. Let us make him inactive. We'll play somebody else. But he's a veteran guy that I think that you feel confident that he can play without needing the certain amount of practice time.
Cornerback Jarian Jones came out of the game for a little while last week with a back issue, has been limited both days, been wearing that off-color jersey on top for non-contact on the practice field. Hunter Long, the tight end, ankle issue, did not practice Wednesday, limited today. That's a good step in the right direction for him.
He did that, by the way, on the opening kickoff. There's not a worse play to get hurt on. At least that's what I think, because, he had to be somewhat helped off the field on the opening kickoff return.
Wow.
And then as a player, you were probably sitting there, he was probably sitting there going, I mean, are you kidding me? The first play? Come on.
Wyatt Milam, we mentioned the guard with a knee issue still from camp, limited both days. Brian Thomas Jr. on the list with the wrist issue. Full participation Wednesday, limited Thursday.
Interesting.
That is curious. And then Bashal Tootin, the running back with a shoulder issue, limited both days. He's had the non-contact jersey on the practice field, at least during the open media time. That's the first 20 minutes or so. That is the Jacksonville Jaguars injury report. Brian Thomas on there. Liam Cohen mentioned the nagging wrist problem on Monday in the press conference. It pops up on the report this week for the first time, but the limited designation today. Curious to see what that means, why it means it, and if anything popped up in practice today.
Well, we'll see. We'll have the two boss men in here shortly, and we can ask them some questions about how that is. But the reality is that all the talk is not going to be able to answer the questions until the performance does.
Got to go play.
That's kind of the reality. When you have a player of that magnitude who played at the level that he did this past game and the level that he has been at kind of so far this year, and I'm talking including camp. There's the only one thing that'll kind of get you through that, and that's performing at a high level again.
One more note, by the way, home game, of course, this Sunday when the Texans are here. The construction on the stadium in the future, the adjacent shipyards, and normal street closures around the complex may affect your traffic patterns coming in, especially if you're coming in on the Main Street Bridge. You won't be able to come in on the Main Street Bridge to downtown because it is closed northbound into downtown Jacksonville. So that'll impact traffic on game day, certainly to EverBank Stadium. Use the Acosta, use the Hart Bridge, use the Matthews Bridge as your main arteries into downtown. The main
or don't
street,
use any bridge.
Or a boat, whatever, something else. Helicopter.
Come in from the west side.
For something else. That Main Street will not be available inbound. It should be available outbound. It has been the case every day. I drive over it every day going home. We'll see if that's the case on game day, certainly. But remember, check the gate on your ticket, on your mobile ticket, and enter there. You've got to go around the stadium on the main concourse still. Same setup as week one in that regard, but just note the traffic patterns could be a little bit of an issue this week. Now, that said, Logs, need this place packed on Sunday against a division rival, the team that won the division last year, the team that knocked out the quarterback last year. It's a huge swing game early in this season. If the Texans are 3-0, the Jaguars are 2-1 with division games way off in the future for the Jags. It's a fantastic start for this team, and it would prove if they play it a certain way and win it, okay, everything they've talked about physicality and owning the division and being a different new era of Jaguars football, I think this is the week to prove all that.
Well, I think you're right. And, look, you can still lose this game and all of a sudden get on a roll and end up being the division winner. I mean, you go back to a couple years ago, the Texans started out their season 0-2 and then ended up winning the division. I think they were 10-7 that year when they won the division a couple years ago. So you can get to a lot of places and start in a lot of different places.
But you got to send a message to this Texans team.
I think the important thing is that this is a great opportunity to go ahead and gain an advantage in the division and to change what has been the way in the past. And you were talking and using that word culture, and I think it's an important word, and that word has meaning when it comes to this. Again, when you look at your season's objectives, at the top of the list is win your home games. And right below that, win your division games, because that's the direct path to the playoffs. Well, this is a double whammy. And on top of that, I think this is what I would consider a culture-changing opportunity to beat them in your house, to send them back at 0-3, and to gain some footing in the division. And then you got to worry about the rest of it whenever you get to that point. But I think this is a big moment. I think this is a good matchup for the Jaguars. They're playing well physically, and the Texans have not found that groove offensively. So if they're dynamic with their backs and their running game and their screen game, and Trevor is accurate and protects the ball, it would be great for him to break that streak, I think, of 5 consecutive games with an interception to get a win at home and be clean and protect the ball.
I think that's where this game is, Logs. The Jags offense against this Texans defense. Feels like the Jags have the advantage on paper defensively against an offense that's struggling in Houston, but those two powers, the Jags offense against the Texans defense, get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, and also the battle of the head coach play callers, right? D'Amico Ryans and Liam Cohen both call plays for their offense and defense, or whatever each one has, and I think that's a really interesting matchup, and there's a lot of familiarity there too because of who they played and what the style of football is here in Jacksonville now.
All right, we're about a minute away from Jags HQ. Coming up, we'll have EVP Tony Boselli and General Manager James Gladstone in studio live with us to get a final look at the week that was after the game in Cincinnati, and, of course, look ahead to this Sunday's matchup in Week 3 against the Houston Texans, the game presented by UF Health, the official healthcare partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's coming up next, Jags HQ on the Jaguars Radio Network. Thank you for listening to Jaguars Happy Hour.
Welcome to Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick and former Jaguar Jeff Lageman sit down each week with the decision makers of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
We're going to bring you a product that you all can be proud of. With that, game on.
Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, starts right now.
Welcome in. It is Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida. We're at the Hyundai Studios, the Miller Electric Center on the Jaguars Radio Network, presented by the University of Florida, #1 university in the U.S. News and World Report's #1 state for education. It's week 3. The Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up at EverBank Stadium this Sunday, a 1 o'clock kickoff time. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. We've got General Manager James Gladstone with us tonight. Boselli may or may not. He's probably late if he's coming, right? Officially late?
At this point, I think we've probably reached the shot clock, right? It's
I think
gone
so.
off. The buzzer has rung. So
We're on the air.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you on the air.
I'm jacked to be here. I mean, gosh, 3 weeks in. We're on the horizon
It's
now.
nice.
You know, I got to say, it seems like you're catching stride. The voice is booming. You know, got the roll coming out. It's sounding like we're in mid-season form right now.
And we got your microphone working today.
Yeah, that's
Oh, gosh.
positive.
It's just things are clicking.
This is what happens. You know, it felt like things were clicking a lot in that game last week. A lot of things to clean up, of course, coming out of the game. But just an overall feel coming out of the Cincinnati game. Yeah, you want the winning result. Didn't get that. But as an organization, how did you view what happened in Cincinnati overall?
Yeah, you know, there were so many good things to take away from that setting. And you know, while the result wasn't what we were hunting up, I think there's plenty of positives to draw from it. And, you know, I don't think there's ever going to be an outing where we say that there isn't something for us to clean up. And this one, obviously, it's tougher to sit with when you got the L that shows up for the first time. Nonetheless, we're in a place now where we've turned the page and we're moving on to a division opponent, one that's coming into, you know, our house, and we obviously gotta do our part to make sure we walk away with a W when the whistle blows and opening kickoff happens. But nonetheless, I think as we peek back a little bit, you know, offensively, you feel really good about some of the things that we're able to do, in particular at the line of scrimmage, in particular in the run game. Defensively, when you look at the fact that we're taking the ball away and we're stopping the run, that's really exciting. Those were elements that coming into the season we wanted to emphasize, we wanted to be about, and to see them show themselves early in the season is certainly something that you can take pride in. You can continue to try and find ways to level up. And obviously, off the heels of that, we want to continue to find improvements in really our passing attack and the consistency, in particular in the red zone, to ensure that we walk away with points when we find ourselves there. Clean up a lot of the operational pre-snap stuff that, though, didn't lead to actual penalties. You know, they were declined, that they don't show up moving forward.
There was like 4 illegal shifts.
Right.
6.
Yeah.
There were 6.
Right.
Was it 6 total? 4 on one drive, but that's another story.
You see yourself in in an adverse environment, right? A lot of orange, a lot of noise, and you got to make sure that the communication is at a premium and ensure coming out of the huddle that those things are everybody's on the same page. But I know defensively that, you know, that was a challenge. We knew that at some point or another those receivers were going to do their thing and attempt to minimize those moments as much as possible. I think our defense, you know, it was one of those weird sensations, right? There were moments where our defense really got after it. There were moments where they were able to find ways to get points. And so it was a weird sensation to say, man, got to be proud because they forced 2 4th downs on the final drive. But clearly they were able to convert, and got to be able to find ways to overcome in that moment.
I don't know about what they were able to convert. The officials converted 1, but
you know what? Here's what I gotta say, Jeff. Right? Nobody's gonna give us anything.
Nope.
We got to take it.
That's right.
Can't give them any thread of consideration. We got to take it. And I think that that's the mindset that's permeating throughout this building. And I think our fans are going to be proud with what they see moving forward, because we're not going to be sitting back. We know what we've done to date still isn't good enough, and we got to go do everything we can to ensure that nobody else has a choice in our outcomes but us.
One of the things I think about a game like that is that when you walk away from that game, no matter whether you're an offensive player, a defensive player, or a special teams player, you know that there were opportunities that were just missed. And that if you make them, it could be the difference in a game. And when you have a game like that, I think a lot of times it's better because you have a shared ownership of the L. And so you feel like, okay, we all got to get a little bit better so that next time that we have an opportunity, we make that play. We shine in that moment. And, because at the end, defense could have made some plays. Offense could have scored in the red zone. Yeah. Special teams could have done a better job of pinning them back a little bit more. And so I think from that aspect, it's a good learning experience.
Yeah, and I know you guys are around the building so much that you get a pulse for how things are moving throughout the course of a week. And one of the things that I got to say, it's been a pleasant surprise, right? This is the first adversity through a loss, right? You can just look at the L as an adversity, right? The fact that you controlled the game up until the final minute.
Controlled it.
Right.
Like controlled it.
There are all three phases. You start talking to them in the lead up before we started turning the page to the Texans. You said everybody looked at themselves and said, if only we would have done this, right, on our side of the ball, right? Defense forces a turnover. Offense raises their hand and says, look, we were presented with an opportunity because of what our defense did to put the game out of reach by scoring points. We didn't. That was our bad. Defense, in turn, says, offense said, we're going to go ahead and try and score here, put 7 up, and we know that our defense has an opportunity, just if we don't convert, to stop the Bengals from driving 90 yards and scoring. So we didn't do enough. And they all say it on their own, right, in their own ways, which is that's a good sign of, hey, we're going to continue to try and level up. We're going to take ownership for where we feel like we fell short, and we're going to find ways to get better. Certainly hard to learn those with the L again, but nonetheless, things that every team is going to face in some way, shape, or form.
All right, so first time you ever watched a game on sideline?
Yeah, that was an odd
viewing. The whole game?
Yeah, that was a different deal. Certainly an interesting one because now you're in a place where you're in proximity to interact with players, coaches in real time, as opposed to, in between first half, second half, or post game, pre-game, those types of things. So, yeah, certainly a new vantage point, and there will be some instances where, depending on what the seating arrangements are at away games, that'll be the case, and it won't be the case in some instances.
I think it's I'll never forget. I retired. Back in last year, my last year playing was '98, and then like a year later or whatever, I go down to watch the last part of a game, and I've been away from the game. It was a broadcaster, but not on the field anymore, and almost became numb to the violence. And when I returned to the field as a spectator, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. That was me? Wow.
That is amazing to think that you at one point were doing it, and now you're considering, wait, I was doing that? Yeah, I'm sure frame of mind at the time, you weren't even thinking twice about it.
Because practices, are just not anywhere near game. Game day, there's collisions and violence.
Right.
And it just, there's nothing else that can
imitate it.
Yeah, it's just you can't get it anywhere else but being right there.
I'm sure it's the same from watching tape, and then all of a sudden, no, that's not tape anymore. Those are human beings doing this to each other.
No, undoubtedly, and just to feel the pulse up close and personal, right? It feels more intimate on the sideline.
As a GM, do you also, because you're obviously watching everything, does it gain you an extra vantage into maybe some of the characteristics or traits of some of the players that you have, because you can actually see firsthand how their body language is, how they respond to others, and how they communicate?
I think that's a big part of it. You can probably see that from a distance well enough. What you don't get as strong of a feel for is the verbal communication, right? They got helmet on in most instances. So typically you'd have to be up close and personal to hear what's coming out of there. And so that was certainly an added element and added layer that you don't get from sitting up in the press box, so to speak, you also miss out on the same lens of how play development, right, and those sorts of things. Some of the that zoomed out lens that you get from a up high vantage point. So it was definitely an interesting one for me, but nonetheless appreciated it just for what it was, and certainly looking forward now to being back here at home and, looking from up top.
James Gladstone with us, Jaguars GM. One final thought on last week's game, and then we'll move on to the Texans here in just a few minutes. One of the things coming out of the game, Brian Thomas Jr., 12 targets, 4 catches, a week after 7 targets and 1 catch. He's on the injury report this week with a wrist issue, limited today, downgraded to limited. How do you get Brian Thomas Jr. to maintain his confidence and get back on track as a wide receiver?
Yeah, I think that's a great question to ask. And fundamentals and techniques are all fundamentals, and the baseline techniques are always going to be what a player can revert back to ensure that there's some version of stabilizing production. And at the same time, we got to continue to find ways within the scheme itself to get good looks. And sometimes the flow of a game will dictate that, but nonetheless, in preparation, I think those two things in tandem are an easy thing to point to try and say get back on track, so to speak.
Yeah. Is that an organizational conversation with him, or how does that work in a week like this?
Yeah, just like most players, you're touching base post game to say, hey, what was it that you saw? What did you like? What did you not like? What do you think this upcoming opponent presents that might be best suited for you, for us, et cetera, and work through those things over the course of a week. And I think that's a natural conversation. It's definitely one that's ongoing, in particular with him this week, just knowing that it's not exactly the production any of us are hunting up. But still, at the same time, you got to look at the offense and you got to say, all right, what are we doing well? How can we incorporate different mechanisms to continue to enhance that, expand that, layer new elements into it? Because I think I pointed to it in the lead up to the season kickoff. The good teams can be built over the course of an off season, but the great teams are the ones that evolve over the course of the regular season. And we're going to have to see an evolution. What we've looked like through 2 weeks is not going to be the exact same that we see in week 3, week 4. Through the first quarter of the season won't look the same as, the next quarter or the second half, so on and so forth. So I think that's something that we're always working to do, which is going to require some collaboration from our coaching staff in tandem with the players themselves to level up.
I think also practice is a big deal for a guy that's struggling. It's twofold, I think. One, so that he can gain confidence.
Right.
Also, so his teammates can gain confidence in him, and also give him a little love and lift him up. So yeah. I hope he has a great week.
Yeah, you and me both. You know how it is. You can probably speak to it better than anyone on these mics. What does a Wednesday practice in the NFL feel like? And that's not. We've all heard the term hump day, but Wednesday in the NFL, you gotta buckle it back up.
It's a grind.
Back. Yeah, that's right.
And so, when you're not playing well, you practice harder.
Right.
I mean, that's just because that's the only thing is
that's
hard
right.
work.
That's right. And we put the pads on today, so guys got it popping. So it was a good one.
Let's come back. We're going to put all that in the rear view and move forward to the Houston Texans. Coming to the bank this Sunday. We are off and running. It is Jags HQ on the Jaguars Radio Network. Jaguars fans, it's time to show up and show out. Get game day ready with fresh gear from Fanatics. Rock your teal and black with the new Sideline collection, head-turning headwear, and exclusive drops you won't find anywhere else. Visit any of our 11 convenient locations throughout the stadium and rep your Jags in style. The Jaguars Pro Shop, a Fanatics experience.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Football and Miller Lite, Duval's greatest pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going well past postgame. Sunday night overtimes, followed by Monday morning pride. Knocking on bar tops for luck. Kicking back on any given Sunday. You never forget the way some things taste. Jags football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
It's Ford Truck Month, America. Time to get into Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years straight. Choose a gas, hybrid, or all-electric F-150. Got a heavyweight job to do? It's time for Super Duty. Save on a great selection of Ford trucks, including Maverick and Ranger. It's Ford Truck Month. Time to make your move. Don't miss the best offers of the year during Ford Truck Month.
Welcome back. Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, continues right now.
Welcome back. It is Jags HQ. It is Thursday of Week 3. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman from the Hyundai Studios of the Miller Electric Center. GM James Gladstone in with us live for the first half hour or so of the program tonight. And now it is on to the Texans. Week 3, division rival, coming into the bank. And it's a place where the Texans have not lost since 2017. They have owned the Jaguars for a lot of the history of the series, but especially lately. 12 of the last 14 have gone to Houston. There's been all this talk in the offseason about the new culture, the new era of Jaguars football, the physicality, mentally and physically, toughness and all these things. Well, you got to do it against the bully in the division at some point to prove that it truly is. So to me, I don't want to overhype a Week 3 game. For only division game in the first 9 weeks, how important is it to set a tone and maybe send a message to the rest of the AFC South?
Every game for us is going to be one that we're trying to continue to showcase the identity of this football team. And I think it's fair to say that we've leaned into the edge of physicality, both mentally and physically tough, right? The idea that just because we're coming off the heels of a loss, that's not going to be something that deters us from taking a step the next week. And the idea that it's the division opponent, the reigning division champions, certainly we're facing that with a level of excitement and preparation that matches the stage. But at the same time, right, we've got a football team, if we focus on us, that can produce at a high level, right? Especially in the areas that we've shown through the first 2 weeks of the season. Those are areas that our opponent's going to have to answer to, right? It's not going to be us answering to them. And look forward, just like in advance of the Carolina Panthers, right? 2 teams at the time going into it emphasizing physicality and running the football. We were able to showcase those elements and how that sort of tilted in our favor. We look forward to facing an opponent who prides themselves on physicality and being able to showcase what style of physicality we're going to be able to play with. And, I think our fan base is certainly going to have a chance here to assist, right? Because you're talking about an opponent who has had success in our home stadium as of recent. And their influence on this game is going to mean something from the stands, right? Whether or not we can make it a home field advantage is going to mean something to this game. So look forward to seeing that here on Sunday, and can't wait.
You talk about establishing a physical style, which you guys have in the first 2 games. This game might be more important than the first 2 games because they've got 2 edge players that are really good.
Yeah.
And seem to be the driving force of their defense. And the one guy, Danielle Hunter, is, I think, a Hall of Fame player. And obviously on the other side, Will Anderson Jr., still a young player, but a very productive player. Right. Where would you rank those 2 guys amongst edge rushers in the National Football League? Because there's not very many edge guys. I mean, you got 2 of them in Trayvon and Josh that are pretty good.
That's right.
Are they the best?
You can get into the subjective elements there. They've been very impactful tandem in particular, right? You look back at last year and just what they meant to that football team. Already through the first couple of games, that defense has been a challenge for the opposing offenses, right? I'm coming from Los Angeles. I got to watch that game the first week of the season. Said I know what that offense can do with the Rams, and the Texans did their part to make that a really close game. And then you fast forward here now into the Monday night game, that Tampa Bay Bucs team, right? That's a really good outfit, and they were able to make that a very challenging task for the Bucs to come out with a win. So certainly looking forward to seeing how we shape up against them, and I do know that there's an excitement when you got so many good players at each of the three levels, right? The defensive front, the linebacking core, the secondary, that you got to rise to the occasion. You got to level up a bit, and look forward to seeing how that takes shape in real time on Sunday.
Well, Boselli's entrance was perfect timing. Because the question I just asked was about Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. And so, Mr. Tackle, how would you block these two guys, each one individually, because they're really good players?
Oh, they're both great players. I mean, Will Anderson's a speed to power guy. Has power you have to respect, and speed as well. And so, I mean, anytime you play a great rusher, I always starts with the tackle and setting. And having the proper set, like, because if you start trying to do too much and start worrying about, getting run over or anything else, that's what they really want you to do. That's why, watching the Tampa game, opening play, what's the first rush Will does is power. This is a defensive end. If as a defensive end, if I can scare the tackle with power, I can set up everything else off of it.
Everything.
And so as a tackle, you go into the game with the mindset of saying, a guy like Will Anderson, if you're going to beat me, you're going to have to run through me. And are you going to be able to do that for 4 quarters? Because we're also going to run the ball and be physical with you. And so, and if you have a good set, good hand placement, both our tackles are strong enough to sit on it. Anton, if Will's over the right tackle, has done a great job this year. He has a ton of strength and the ability to recover and sit and get his hips down and lift people up.
He's finishing, by the way, the best that he's ever done in his career.
I think he's playing the best.
By far.
I think he's playing the best football as a Jaguar.
Totally agree.
And then after that, what Will wants to do is start working edges, because really what he wants to beat you is with speed. He is not a dynamic pass rusher as far as hand usage or moves or anything else. He's
power.
Speed, power, decent inside move. I wouldn't worry about the inside move. I think you can react to that. I mean, it's legit, but it's not. It's not a killer. It's not like a Von Miller where he has a spin inside, like you don't even know what planet you're on when he throws it on you. And then you look at Daniil. Daniil's more of a he's showing more power, I think, this year and maybe part of last year. Got some maybe a rebirth of sorts, but traditionally he's more of a, I don't want to say finesse rusher, but he wants to work edges. He wants to use his length. He wants to try to get on your edge. Maybe not get as dirty, where I think Will is more of the dirty work, physical, hard nose, going to play the run very well as well. So always with the tackle, it starts with a set. The advantage we're at home this week, so it's not silent count. So you can work different sets. I always felt like on the road, my sets were limited because I got to get vertical early because I'm not going to have the chance. I don't have the advantage of the snap count. But this is a game I think, especially Will, I would short set. Probably both these guys. I would change up my sets when I know the ball is going to be out, to give them different looks, not to get them in a rhythm. It's no different, than I think a pitcher. If you're a fastball pitcher and you just throw fastballs, I don't care how fast you throw it, they're going to time it up. As a tackle, if you have the same set over and over again, that defensive end, the good ones, and we got 2 good ones this week we're facing, they're going to start timing you up, understanding where the intersection point. If you start jumping them a little bit, vertical to get width, just different sets, understanding where the quarterback is going to be, understand the launch point, I think you can get an advantage. I think both our tackles are prepared. I think both are playing really good football right now. And the biggest thing, Jeff, this is a defensive end. Whenever I played an elite pass rusher, hey, let's run the ball. Because now I can be physical and wear them out and start getting them on the ground and laying on them and start taking it out of them. It's a little bit different in today's game. Now, these guys are guys who will play more than most defensive ends. They play a lot of reps. You don't get to wear guys out like you used to because guys aren't playing 90% of the snaps like they did in your day, in my day. but I think it starts with the set and understand what they're trying to do. Danielle wants to work edges, use his length. Anderson wants to set you up with power to allow you to start leaning and work the edges with his speed.
Danielle Hunter, James, might have. I mean, when you look at defensive ends, don't you wish they all look like that? I mean,
they both look the part. There's no doubt. And I think even beyond just the two edge players, right? You're looking at a defensive front that is very much in the lens of piercing and attacking. And so you're looking at high TFL percentage, high disruption and chaos. You're also looking at opportunity, right? Within the chaos, there's opportunity. And you can play into some of that. And so it'll be a fun game of chess between the offensive and defensive minds that'll be coaching out there. Certainly as we look over to the Houston Texans and their offensive outfit, you're looking at an offensive coordinator who comes from a blended system of where Liam has been under Sean McVay and also the New England Patriots. So that'll be another fun dynamic to watch unfold on that side as well versus Campy and our crew who have been very good at creating chaos in their own way.
Yeah, and I think the key of whether it's when we're on offense, their defense, or vice versa, the Houston and C.J. Stroud groups out there, I think this game really comes down to the physicality. I mean, for so long, especially under DeMeco Ryan, they have hung their hat on being the most physical team in the division and playing physical defense and trying to be physical on offense. Now, I don't think they've been as effective, but, then they got a guy like Nick Chubb. That's a physical running back. They're going to run duo. They're going to run downhill at you. And I think so much of that is, their mentality, and I respect them a lot as an organization, and what DeMeco's done with that team is like, hey, we're going to come out and be the tougher, more physical team, and we're going to punch you in the face. The only way you match that, in my opinion, is punching right back. And I think what we have seen out of this team and what Liam, and we've talked about on the show.
Figuratively, by the way. Not
and actually.
Literal, yeah.
Well, I mean, they have face masks on. I'm not saying take it off, not fist fight in the parking lot or anything like that. Not closed fist, but, you got to deliver a blow. How about that? Is that a better way to say it?
That's better,
yeah. It is figuratively, but you know what I mean. But it's that mindset. Being physical and playing physical is as much of the action of doing it. It's the decision before you ever get out there that this is who we are and how we're going to play. And I think Liam has done a great job, our staff, our players. I think if you look at the two games, two different outcomes, obviously one we like, one we did not like. However, the consistent thing is stopping the run on defense and running the ball on offense and being that physical team. And that's what they're going to be. And they're a dang good. I don't care if they're 0-2. They lost two really tight games against two teams that were in the playoffs last year, two playoff teams. And so throw the records out. It's a division game. And I think so much of this is going to be the mindset going in of how we're going to play and the style of play as much of technique and all those things we're repping on the field right now. Our guys are great. I think our tackles, our O-line, our coaches are going to have a great plan. At the end of the day, it's one man enforcing his will against another man. And that's what it's going to come down to.
It's a heck of a way to wrap it up today, guys. How about that?
Oh, we're already done?
Yeah,
I feel like we just got started.
You just got started.
No, he's got to stay another segment.
Oh, you got 20 more minutes, actually. We owe us 20 minutes. James is good.
I will stay. We only stay to 35. I'll stay to 35. Just one more segment. That's what we always do.
Okay. Well, let's come back in a moment.
I will. James is free to go because I was late. I'll be honest with you. I text Jim. I'm like, James, where did you go? I've been looking for it because I was in a meeting. I was actually working, so I was not. And he goes, "It's the radio show today." I'm like, "Oh, it's Thursday."
I just want to sell you out.
We're back in a moment.
I said, "Oops."
Final few moments with Gladstone and Boselli after this on Jaguars Radio.
Can you imagine rising for work before the crack of dawn? Tending to hundreds of acres of land before dusk? Well, that's what happens on 47,000 Florida farms every day. Florida's farmers work hard to grow nutritious food for you and your family. And you can help support them by enjoying delicious Fresh from Florida produce. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop or visit freshfromflorida.com to learn more.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, EverBank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at EverBank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
The moment you drop off donations at a North Florida Goodwill, your things start new lives. A donated jersey helps someone suit up for success through education and training. A pair of old cleats helps a job seeker step confidently into new career opportunities. Every donation fuels Goodwill's mission to provide education, training, and career opportunities, removing barriers to employment and building brighter futures across our community. To find your nearest donation center and learn more, visit goodwillnorthfl.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
Welcome back. Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, continues right now.
Welcome back. It is Jags HQ on the Jaguars Radio Network. Tickets available for this Sunday's game against the Texans, 904-633-2000, or visit jaguars.com/ticket, /tickets, plural. The Prowler throwback uniforms are coming out for the first time in 2025 this Sunday. And this is a divisional game at home against a team that hasn't lost here on the road. The Texans have won every game here since 2017.
They haven't played this team, though.
That's got to change. It's a new Jaguars team.
I mean, but like I always laugh at those things. And this isn't disrespecting the Texans. What they've done, they've been the best team in the division the last 2 years. Call it what it is. And hats off to them. They've earned it. However, it was when I was a player, post-playing my entire life. What happened last year or 7 years ago or 10 has no bearing on what's going to happen Sunday. I just don't believe in that. I mean, this locker room's different. Our staff is different. The whole building's different. They have a lot of new players as well. They're different. Every game has a life of its own. Now, where I think if you start believing that stuff, then it can impact you. Because you're like, oh, they always win. It's a confidence thing. And I always, as a player, I was like, who cares? I don't care that they beat us last year or the 2-3 years before that. I mean, for a while, we couldn't win early, and we struggled in Pittsburgh. It was just a couple years. But what did that have to do with anything? We went up there and won. And so, obviously, I think the bigger thing is it's a division game. And so the one thing because they were a playoff team. They were close to going to the AFC Championship. I mean, they played the Chiefs very tough in the division round. They had to have a game-winning drive at home to beat us. We had them dead to rights if we get one first down. And in a game where they knocked out our quarterback, it was 6-3 going end of third quarter. And so they were a much better team than we were last year. And it's still a close game. So the only thing when you're going to play your division, it's going to come down to the fourth quarter and who's going to make the play, who's going to be the more physical team, who's going to take advantage of mistakes. That's who's going to win the game. And so what happened last year, I've heard it because I've heard our fans talk about it. I heard people knuckleheads on radio like you, JP, and you, Jeff. You
guys are on radio too.
And
now
me.
by the way.
But I used to. By the way, we did last year. We were saying the same thing. It was 6 in a row. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I don't think it means anything to what's going to happen Sunday. It means nothing. That's how I look at it. You have anything to add there?
Good question. Nothing to add.
Thank you.
Check mark.
Check mark.
Yeah. All right. So during the break there, we were chatting
Took you a
about
minute to get there.
I got there.
some of the Texans players, and we talked about Derek Stingley. Is he one of the best corners in the league now? I mean, when he first started out, I thought he was a little inconsistent, not a very good tackler. But 11 interceptions in essentially 3 years, and he's just starting his 4th year. And then last week to watch him travel with Mike Evans and do a really good job. He's one of the best, isn't he?
Right. No, there's no doubt that that's the case. And I think when you look at corners, right, a lot of times you can label them. Go ahead and use a stoplight, right? Is this a green light? Is this a yellow light corner? Or is this a red light? And some of them are stop signs, not many. Stingley's one of them, right? Most are some version of a speed bump, right?
Or a yield.
Or a yield, right. Yeah, that's right. It's an amazing thing, right? A corner in the NFL. You're tasked with what is very close to an impossible thing to do. You have no idea what the person or people across from you are about to do in terms of a route, yet you're asked to maintain the same speed and proximity
and not touch
to
them.
And not touch them at all. It is to think that you can actually do that is some version of delusion. Those that actually can is jaw-dropping, right? It is a very gifted thing to be able to do because it's not easy.
Quarterback run backwards sometimes too.
Yeah.
Well, and quarterback has always been considered the hardest position to play in football. But like as a scout, as a GM, is that also one of the hardest positions to find talent because it is so hard to do?
Yeah, I think when you're looking at a very small group of stop signs, if I stick with that same terminology or line of thought, that are actually in the realm of currently playing. And so I think comparatively to other positions that fit the same mold for what they're tasked with, there are fewer and far between that you can actually find in that category for sure.
James Gladstone, Tony Boselli, the Jaguars host the Houston Texans Sunday, 1 o'clock. The game presented by UF Health. Pack this place out. Support this Jags team. Got to have it, Tony.
Fans matter. I mean, the environment and our fans showing up and being loud and bringing energy, it impacts the entire environment and everything that happens. So hopefully we have fans come out and get excited. Prowler, the old school uniform's going to be out there. But the only thing I do know is we'll be out there and ready to play.
It's Tony Boselli, EVP, James Gladstone, General Manager. Thank you, guys. We'll do it again next week.
Appreciate it.
Until then.
All right. Back in just a moment. Plenty more ahead, including Spiro Ditas of CBS Sports. We'll have the call of this Sunday's game against the Texans. This is Jags HQ on the Jaguars Radio Network.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
If you look closely at a Ford SUV, you won't just see eye-catching design. You'll feel adventure and a new sense of freedom in a Ford Bronco, or an elevated level of confidence from the advanced technology found in a Ford Explorer. And with standard 4x4 in the Bronco Sport, you'll find the strength to overcome almost any obstacle. It's time to see Ford SUVs in a new light. Stop by your local Ford dealer today to find a great deal on a new Ford SUV.
Ranked one of the nation's top universities, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
NFL fans, when it's time to get Jaguars tickets, you can tackle game day with total certainty with Ticketmaster. With 100% verified tickets available all season long, you can count on getting in with ease and spend time focusing on the good stuff. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, you can still score seats. Want to meet up inside the stadium with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Welcome back. Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, continues right now.
Welcome back. Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida on the Jaguars Radio Network, presented by the University of Florida. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. And if you want customized Jags furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. Zipchair furniture for fans. Always fun with James Gladstone, Tony Boselli, and getting into the mind of the folks in the decision-making level of the organization. Yeah, I didn't realize that they were on the field for the game this past week in Cincinnati.
Yeah, the every visiting team, there's different accommodations for a visiting general manager, GM, EVP, whatever you want to have in that box. Some teams have that available, some don't. If it's not available, sometimes those guys would sit in the press box, but the problem about being in the press box is that you don't really have the ability to communicate in privacy.
No.
And there's no cheering.
No cheering.
And all that kind of stuff.
No yelling the other way either.
Well, maybe the next time we can invite them to come sit in the radio booth, because we wouldn't be able to hear them anyway because we have our headsets on. So maybe we'll offer that.
Interesting.
Yeah. But they were on the sideline. They got to stay outside of the sideline area.
Right. Yeah.
But, they were on the sideline.
Curious to hear James Gladstone's comments on Brian Thomas Jr. and the practice. You just got to keep going after it. And as an organization, those conversations happen all the time anyway. It just kind of naturally flows into that.
Well, and I hope he plays better this week. I mean, that's the biggest thing and the reality is if you don't play better at some point, your snaps get reduced, and others will have that opportunity. And until you can capture them back, then that's where they'll stay. And so I hope his swag is back this week. I mean, because that's the one thing that we really were, I don't want to say shocked, but we were very surprised when that swagger of Brian Thomas Jr. came out last year. We're like, wow.
Okay, it's this guy.
Yeah. Competitor, ultimate
for
competitor.
First downs, the whole deal.
Yeah, and that I'm not seeing that this year. I want to see that swagger back. When we see that swagger, we know he's back.
Let's come back in a moment. We're going to hear from Spiro Ditas of CBS Sports. Plenty more ahead of this Texans-Jaguars matchup in Week 3. And this is Jags HQ on Jaguars Radio.
Floridians, do you know how close you are to freshness? It's not a plane or a ship ride away. It's not across an ocean or over the equator. It's not even a far drive. The peak of freshness is at your grocery store, and it's called Fresh from Florida. Fresh from Florida is local produce grown by farmers right here in our own state, meaning it's always fresh, always in season, and always mouth-wateringly good. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo or ask for it by name where you shop.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, EverBank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
It's here that a tiny newborn has the heart surgery needed to save her life. It's here that a first grader learns to speak clearly and confidently. It's here that a 12-year-old athlete builds the strength to run full speed again. It's here at Wolfson Children's Hospital that answers are found, courage is shown, and odds are beaten every day. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at EverBank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
Welcome back. Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, continues right now.
JP Shadrick with you. Jeff Lageman returns in just a moment. The Jaguars and the Texans coming up this Sunday at EverBank Stadium. The game presented by UF Health, and it's on CBS Sports. Spiro Ditas will have the call of this Sunday's game. I talked to him earlier today. He's excited to see this Liam Cohen-Trevor Lawrence relationship continue to blossom.
You know, look, what Liam has done the last couple of years speaks for itself. Not a huge sample size there, clearly. A guy who hasn't called plays for very many years. But a recent track record is something to build on. Really like his temperament. I know a lot was made about the exchange in game towards the end last week in Cincinnati. But the guy's got fire. Love that part of what he brings to the table. The other thing I think he understands, and anyone who's studied Trevor Lawrence the last couple of years knows that, this offense needs some balance. They had to retool the offensive line. That's always been an issue with them. And can they give Trevor run support consistently to keep defenses honest? I think that, to me, is my biggest takeaway through the first 2 weeks. BTN last year, for whatever reason, took a step back. The offensive line issues, some of the injuries they had up front, obviously Trevor in and out of the lineup, they just could never commit to that part of their offense. And I think that always puts stress on a quarterback, especially a guy like Trevor Lawrence. So I think the fact that they've committed to that part of their offensive attack speaks to who Liam Cohen is. I think it's a coach recognizing his personnel and trying to tailor a system to put his quarterback in the best possible position to succeed. And if you're a Jacksonville fan, I think the biggest hope is that part of their offensive arsenal can continue to grow and they can stay committed to that. Because if they can give Trevor, I think, a consistent run threat each and every time they step on the field, I think this is a very capable offense.
Spiro Ditas, CBS Sports with us. This is a huge game this week, early swing game in the AFC South. A lot of season to go, but it's the Jaguars' only divisional game in the first 9 weeks of the season. And against the team that won the division last year and supposedly is a favorite to do it again coming into the season. They're up against the wall. The Texans are 0-2. We all know about the physicality that this Texans defense has. I mean, they knocked Trevor Lawrence out of last year's game here in Jacksonville, and he didn't play the rest of the season. I don't think there's any retribution coming, but this also feels like Spiro, a Jaguars team now that won't back away from something like that. Echo of the whistle. They want to show their physicality. I think this could be like just a real slugfest, I think.
Yeah, I think it's, when you have a team that is as desperate as the Texans are early in a season, a team that's expected to contend, a team that has expectations going into the season, as you just mentioned, I think that's a dangerous thing. And as I'm sure you recall, 2 years ago, 2023, D'Amico Ryan's first year as Houston's head coach, they were in the exact same position. Come to Jacksonville week 3, 0-2. That obviously was a different Houston team with very low expectations. Houston comes, they win the game by 20, I think it was 37-17, and then they catapult themselves the rest of their season, go on to win the AFC South. But I think you make a good point. I think this Jacksonville team is much better equipped to be in this position that they're in, to come in and face a team that's going to be as desperate as Houston is on Sunday in Jacksonville. This will be an early, I think, barometer for both of these teams. Is this Jacksonville team truly ready to compete? How do they handle this kind of a desperate team early season in their building? And also for Houston, is this truly going to be a team that can achieve what the expectations are for them? Because they're in a different position. I think that they've been a great story with D'Amico the last couple of years. Obviously, 2023, their first year, get to the playoffs, win a playoff game, advance. Did the same last year before it kind of ended for them. But they're now dealing with expectations. I think they're at that juncture of a franchise, that natural ascending that a team tries to do in their division and conference. So this is going to be a fun game for both teams to see where they're at early in the season.
Spiro Ditas, CBS Sports, has the call this Sunday. The full extended interview on the official Jaguars podcast network. Jeff Lageman returns when we return. It's Jags HQ on the Jaguars Radio Network.
It's Ford Truck Month, America. Time to get into Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years straight. Choose a gas, hybrid, or all-electric F-150. Got a heavyweight job to do? It's time for Super Duty. Save on a great selection of Ford trucks, including Maverick and Ranger. It's Ford Truck Month. Time to make your move. Don't miss the best offers of the year during Ford Truck Month.
Dude, did you order the new iPhone 17 Pro? Got it from Verizon, the best 5G network in America. I never looked so good.
You look the same.
But with this camera, everything looks better, especially me.
You haven't changed your hair in 15 years. Selfies? Check, please.
New and existing customers can get the new iPhone 17 Pro, designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever. With eligible phone trade-in and unlimited ultimate. Any condition guaranteed. Best 5G source root metrics data, United States, 1H 2025. All rights reserved. Trade-in and additional terms apply for all offers. See Verizon.com for details.
My best friend Riley loved going to the beach. She was a great swimmer. Then one day, during a swim meet, she collapsed. She had cancer, Hodgkin lymphoma. She spent months getting care at UF Health. The doctors did so much, even put her in a clinical trial. I wish we could go to the beach right now. But she's working.
Out of the water.
She's on lifeguard duty. Maybe we'll head out when her shift is done.
UF Health. Human progress has no finish line.
Jaguars fans, it's time to show up and show out. Get game day ready with fresh gear from Fanatics. Rock your teal and black with the new sideline collection, head-turning headwear, and exclusive drops you won't find anywhere else. Visit any of our 11 convenient locations throughout the stadium and rep your Jags in style. The Jaguars Pro Shop, a Fanatics experience.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger, made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
NFL fans, when it's time to get Jaguars tickets, you can tackle game day with total certainty with Ticketmaster. With 100% verified tickets available all season long, you can count on getting in with ease and spend time focusing on the good stuff. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, you can still score seats. Want to meet up inside the stadium with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Welcome back. Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, continues right now.
Welcome back. It is Jags HQ. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Let's take a quick look at the Jaguars defense here, especially the secondary. 3 takeaways last week. Andrew Wingard had one of those, Logs.
Yeah, he's playing really well. And a couple years ago, he was playing well, but for whatever reason, they weren't putting him in the lineup. And congratulations to Dewey. I mean, he's hands down a starter. He's playing extremely well. 2 consecutive weeks that he's had an interception, although the one was negated because of a penalty against Carolina. But he had one bad play that I can remember, and it wasn't a terrible play, but he missed the tackle on the long touchdown with T. Higgins. But other than that, he's been playing real solid. He's been tackling well. He's playing aggressive around the line of scrimmage. When they go to dime, they kick him down as a linebacker sometimes in that dime unit. And you couldn't ask for better. I think it's one of the reasons why the Jaguars have calmed down as a secondary this year, and they're not allowing the explosives like they did last year, is his presence.
Yeah, his presence. Murray's been in the league forever. Jordan Lewis and his mentality and experience.
Jordan Lewis has been a huge addition.
A huge upgrade.
And how in the world did the Cowboys let him go?
I don't know.
I mean, the Cowboys let Micah Parsons go and him go?
Oof.
I mean, come on, Jerry. We appreciate it, though.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We're back in a moment. Our final thoughts ahead of this
Very
Texans
thankful, Jerry.
Jaguars matchup in Week 3. It's Jags HQ on Jaguars Radio.
Can you imagine rising for work before the crack of dawn? Tending to hundreds of acres of land before dusk? Well, that's what happens on 47,000 Florida farms every day. Florida's farmers work hard to grow nutritious food for you and your family. And you can help support them by enjoying delicious Fresh from Florida produce. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop or visit freshfromflorida.com to learn more.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, EverBank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA. To not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
The moment you drop off donations at a North Florida Goodwill, your things start new lives. A donated jersey helps someone suit up for success through education and training. A pair of old cleats helps a job seeker step confidently into new career opportunities. Every donation fuels Goodwill's mission to provide education, training, and career opportunities, removing barriers to employment and building brighter futures across our community. To find your nearest donation center and learn more, visit goodwillnorthfl.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
Are you looking for a way to support those who serve? The Jaguars are proud to partner with VetTix, a national nonprofit doing amazing things for our veterans, service members, first responders, and their families. VetTix has given away over 30 million free event tickets nationwide to a wide range of live events, including Jaguars games. These tickets help reduce stress, strengthen family bonds, and create lifelong memories. Join us in supporting their vital work. To donate your unused tickets, discover how to become a member, or support their cause, visit vettix.org or firsttix.org today.
Don't get sacked by a plumbing problem, Jacksonville. Duck Duck Rooter is here to keep your home a winning field. From clogged drains to AC breakdowns, our Pro Bowl team is always ready to run the right play. We're proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and just like the Jags, we bring our A-game every time. Look for our custom Jaguar wrap plumbing vans rolling through town, because when you see the Duck, you know the job's getting done right. Thousands of 5-star Google reviews can't be wrong. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter, when you're stuck, call the Duck.
Welcome back. Final moments of Jags HQ presented by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, and the Texans and Jaguars matchup presented by UF Health, the official healthcare partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Home field advantage needed. We heard Boselli earlier. No, this is not the old Jaguars teams. This is a new Jaguars team, and all that historical thing doesn't matter this time around. You got to go prove it, though, this Sunday.
Of the hill, and if you're going to knock them off and compete in the division, I think this is one of the big steps that you need to take, and that's winning home games against division opponents at home. I mean, that's simple fact, and if you can do that, you've got a great chance of winning the division, and that's always the goal, is win your home games and win your division, because that qualifies you for the postseason. And C.J. Stroud, I think right now is just a little off. And now I think you got a great opportunity to keep him off. And Josh and Trayvon got to have, I think, strong days.
This is the game for those guys, right, against this line?
We're talking about the other tandem, right? And, look, our tandem needs to play well. And Josh hasn't had a sack yet this year, but his impact has been felt. And I want to see the numbers for Josh. I want to see him break Tony Bracken's record. It would be great to do it at home against the Houston Texans. I would be thrilled to see that on Sunday. But if those two guys play well, then it will be difficult for C.J. Stroud to feel comfortable and for him to play well.
Jeff Lageman, I'm JP Shadrick. Our thanks to Joe Fortunato, Brent Reaver, our entire crew. Of course, Tony Boselli, James Gladstone. And thanks to you for joining us. We'll see you Sunday at the bank. This is Jags HQ on the Jaguars Radio Network.